is actually a National Black History Month theme, and it is celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. However, we at Merritt College have chosen not to acknowledge that theme, because if you read the Emancipation Proclamation and study that history, you'll find out that we actually were not freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. That in fact it was a military document, and that Lincoln was committed to preserving or ending slavery. Really his whole mission in that period was to reunify the nation. If you read that actual document, you'll find out that it's actually an insult for us to think that the Emancipation Proclamation freed us, because it was not that document. As a matter of fact, African people freed themselves from slavery through resisting, through organizing, through protesting, through rebellion. We were not waiting for someone to come pass a document. So the myth-truth of history around the Emancipation Proclamation is not something that we are acknowledging. Further, if you study it more, like I know many of our students do, when the 13th Amendment was passed, although it states that slavery and involuntary servitude is illegal, it also says it's illegal unless it's used to punish you for a crime. And so we know that although slavery ended, it didn't really end. As a matter of fact, laws and tricks were put in place to re-enslave us on the chain gangs and have us picking cotton. But then further still, we know the Emancipation Proclamation didn't free us because we don't have a myopic view of the African experience. We are African people across the globe. And to say that we've been freed in one country, but we're still slaves in Brazil, we're still slaves in Cuba, we're being colonized in the continent of Africa, is a myopic, limited view. As African people, we understand that slavery didn't end, it just moved to the continent of Africa in the form of colonization. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? We have to really break down history and know what happened to our people. The last country in the Western Hemisphere to end slavery was Brazil, and that wasn't until 1892. By that time, European interests, because slavery was no longer profitable, had begun to enslave Africans on their own soil, forcing African people to cut down rubber vines for Firestone tires, forcing Africans to dig up diamonds to enrich the Rhodes families and other wealthy elite European families. So as African people, we understand what really happened in history. And this is critical because we are not honoring the 150th anniversary of what didn't happen in the Emancipation Proclamation. Instead, our theme is loving Africa, our history, our culture, our people. And this may seem really simplistic to you, but I'm gonna tell you something. The Italian American loves Italy. The Irish American loves Ireland. The Chinese American loves China. The Mexican American loves Mexico, but the African in America is ashamed of Africa, is unknowledgeable about Africa, thinks that Africa is savage, thinks that Africa is uncivilized, is unaware of the greatness of our past. We as a people cannot move forward until we really know who we are, our history, our heritage, our culture, and we come to love and appreciate what it means to be an African person here in America, to be an African person here in East, West, North Oakland. We have an amazing history. We have built civilizations that are so phenomenal that they refuse to give us credit for building those pyramids and building the Sphinx and understanding the math and science that it took to build Zimbabwe, understanding the knowledge of the universe in order to discover constellations like the Dogon did. We have to know who we are if we're ever going to really address the conditions that were faced post-slavery, post-Jim Crow, in the new Jim Crow era that we're living in. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a love of Africa. It's looking in the mirror and not seeing I. It's looking in the mirror and seeing we. To be African means that you understand that you are a collective. It is not an I experience. It's I means we. Whatever happens to me happens to you. Whatever you're doing and experiencing is happening to me. Whatever has happened, whatever it is that I put forth in the community, ripple effects, and vice versa and all around. We have to reject the I paradigm, that Western capitalist paradigm, and take the jewels of the African philosophy. We were not savages savages. We have never been savages. You have really got to study the deep science of African people. When we moved collectively. We understood that what one does affects all of us. When we looked at each other, we saw beauty in our skin color, in our natural hair texture, in our physical features. That is beauty, that was beauty, that still is beauty. Loving Africa does not just mean knowing the facts of history. Loving Africa means truly loving and accepting yourself. Truly loving and accepting your brothers and sisters around you. Choosing not to use the slave master's mentality, the slave master's words, and the slave master's actions, but choosing to use the loving principles of the African philosophy, the action-oriented principles. So when it came to developing this theme, we said, well, who's going to be our keynote speaker? And so we do what we always do. We pray and open up and just say, let the right person come through. We just want to drop some knowledge on our young people. We want to drop some knowledge on ourselves. We want to move forward. And Sister Danae Martinez, who's an intern in African American Studies right here in the gold, give her a round of applause. Sister Danae Martinez said, Siri, why don't you bring Mama Charlotte O'Neal? Why don't you bring Mama Charlotte O'Neal? I said, oh, what a great idea. Let's look into that. Lo and behold, we had already set our theme about loving Africa. And here we have before us a sister who completely lives, walks, talks, sings, rhymes, and is active on that level. Sister Mama Charlotte O'Neal, all the way from Tanzania.
Okay, Mama Charlotte O'Neal is a former Black Panther, where she learned how to effectively serve the Black community. She is an accomplished poet, musician, and visual artist, and founding director of Tanzania's United African Alliance Community Center, UAACC, a community-based organization which promotes community development in rural Tanzania, East Africa. The UACC has a number of independent media projects as part of its powerful community work, including hip-hop, music production, photography, videography, poetry, theater, and the development of an independent radio station. 4 decades after leaving this country for exile in Tanzania, Mama Charlotte O'Neal returns to visit with us at Merritt College and share the inspirational story of how she and her husband's past as Black Panthers affect their work among the urban and rural of East Africa and U.S. Please give a warm Merritt College welcome to Mama Charlotte O'Neal.
It's a blessing to be here. I feel blessed for the opportunity to talk to y'all. I see so many of my comrades here today. I don't know if some of the sister artists are here, Sister Karen, or any of them. No, but my comrades are here. My community is here. Even though I've been living in Africa for more than 40 years, I was born and raised in Kansas City. So you probably still hear that in my accent. So all of this vibe that was happening today, that's happening right now, I can really relate to it. It's in my bones. It was making my flesh crawl. Because I realized that the ancestors are here. The ancestors are in the house. And we remember that sound. That sound brings on that dream again. A dream that I cannot wipe from my mind. Middle passage memories still twisting in my DNA. And it begins. I watch the seagull tip his wings slightly to the right as he hovers over the windswept ocean waves. It looks back briefly at me, beckoning me to follow over the blue-gray expanse of water. I hold on to the slippery tufts of belly feathers and immediately feel the steely grip of my ancestors wrapped tightly around my waist, locking me in, buckling me up for a ride back in time. And it begins. My senses radar in on a faintly heard squawk. I think of another bird. Then a scream, screaming cries of 10,000 voices calling out to me in languages I cannot decipher. Nisaidie, help, Nisaidie, tortures my ears, and I reach out to cradle the blood-covered, freshly born baby squeezed out in a desperate attempt to preserve a life, any life, on that ship that's going down, 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 crashing and drowning 9,999 souls in one swift swoop of disaster. I hold tightly to that blood-soaked baby hand, its black skin glistening and slippery with the broken womb water of its mother's parting life force. And I hold tightly to that shivering newborn life as we barely escape together. That swiftly spinning whirlpool of destruction and screams and cries and curses and prayers for freedom, for escape, for release, strangled out in 1,000 languages, and I absorb it all quickly, before the ocean covers them and wraps them tightly in a burial shroud of icy, stinging, salt water. My tears drip into the ocean as I bear witness to thousands of hopes denied, thousands of dreams unrealized, thousands of children unborn. My hot, steaming tears drip swiftly and freely flooding the baby's face that I cradle in my arms, cleaning it, warming it up. It wakes quickly, all its senses alert, and it reaches up to touch my face, brushing through the flowing bucket of tears pouring down. Its tiny, strong, dark brown hand comforts my grief and turns my face around, lifts my chin up, strengthening me. And the baby smiles up at me. I'm astonished, nearly lose my grip at the shocking revelation that I'm looking into the eyes of my great-great-grandmother. She smiles up at me and urges the bird to fly faster with strongly felt kicks from her tiny baby feet, and we fly higher over the still swirling ocean waves, and we fly faster and harder and faster and faster, and those drowned hopes and dreams and creativity and knowledge and love rise up like hot steam, enveloping us, penetrating as we soar higher, carrying them with us, securely hammered into the marrow of our bones. We circle the waves one last time, and the ocean is quiet now, with a collective sigh of relief. And they sleep, knowing we will never forget them. They rest at peace, knowing we will always honor them. They smile with pain-free love, knowing that we remember. offer this poem, but when the ancestors are moving the way they're moving in this room today, you gotta do something. Yeah. That's my king, man. Brother Pete O'Neill. I met him when I was 18 years old. Fresh out of Wyandotte High School in Kansas City, Kansas. And I would look at the TV every day and read the newspapers, and they would have on there every day these broadcasts about the Black Panther Party that was newly established there. And I would see these fine brothers in their berets and their leather jackets, you know, those little tight skin pants they used to wear, and their shades. And that's not the thing, y'all, that drew me to the Black Panther Party, but him. So, I wanted to find out more about what was this thing called the Black Panther Party. And I started going, we used to say going over town, because if any of y'all been to Kansas City, there's a Kansas City, Kansas, and a Kansas City, Missouri. And some places it's just a line in the street. And I would go over there and I would observe all these young people like y'all. What's y'all's average age like? 18, 19, 20? Young people like you all. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to fix breakfast for children whose names they might not even know. But whose vibe they knew. They knew that these children were going to school hungry. And I admired that so much. I admired the fact that these brothers and sisters would be out in the snow. And in Kansas City, you get blizzards. Selling the Panther paper, trying to disseminate this information, helping mothers and mothers and children who are on welfare know their rights, helping people to know that they did not have to be brutalized by the police. And I said, I want to be a part of that. And I joined, 18 years old. Matter of fact, I ran away from home. But y'all had to follow that example. And I remember my father would call on the phone over to the Panther pads. That's where all the Panthers live. And ask, where is my pumpkin? That's what he always used to call me. But everybody was under strict orders. Don't tell my daddy I'm over here. But after my father saw the reality of what the Black Panther Party was about, after he met Brother P, after he realized that the things that he would see on TV, all the negativity that he would read about in the newspaper were lies, my daddy would get up and also participate in the Breakfast for School Children program on his days off. So many of you all, since this is Merritt College, I'm sure many of you all know about COINTELPRO, right? Yeah? Well, those of you who don't know, this was a program that was established by the FBI, pushed by J. Edgar Hoover. And it was a counterintelligence insurgency program that was designed to take down the leaders of the Black Panther Party and other progressive organizations by causing discord, by spreading lies, by jailing people, by murdering people. How many people in this room have been to the Senate? Okay. Well, I hope many of you will come in the future because there are volunteer opportunities there. Let me tell you what we do at the Senate. Let me tell you where we live. You all have probably heard of Mount Kilimanjaro, right? The tallest mountain in Africa, with 30 miles as the crow flies from Mount Kilimanjaro. And we live in the foothills of Mount Meru, which is the third largest mountain, tallest mountain in Africa. We live in a village, and we were were city folks just like y'all. Knew nothing about farming. But we determined to be pioneers in our homeland. Learn how to milk cows. I'm expert at milking cows. Learn how to slaughter pigs and make sausage and raise thousands of chickens, grow all of our food, had big calluses on our hands, built the bricks for our first house ourselves with a cinder ram machine. That's where you mix termite mound soil with regular soil, and those come out as strong as cement or stronger. We learned how to do all of this. I remember we used to have a Mother Earth catalog. Any of y'all remember Mother Earth? That was a Back to the Land instruction book. And that became like our Bible. Taught us how to do everything. So, over the years, our homesteading has been replaced by the community center. United African Alliance Community Center. And what we do there is provide daily classes for youth and elders in our community in subjects like English and computer studies and art and handicraft and sports and music production. We got a studio there. I know some of y'all probably did. No? I'm talking to over here. And all of our teachers are volunteers. And all of this program that we do and our lifestyle harks back to our experiences as Black Panthers. Because the paramount thing that we did as Panthers was community service. That is just so all up in our bones that there's no way we could not do community service. You can keep on, sister. Where am I looking? Oh, okay. Yes, this is Mount Maywood. Just to let you see how the environment is there. We live around the foothills of that. You can keep on. That's me milking cows. We used to do a lot of hunting. I'm vegan now, so I don't have nothing to do with the hunting. But that's me milking. Yes. You can keep going. That's us way back in the day. Our children, Malcolm and Storm, were born there. Keep on. That's us building our first house. We have 4 acres there, and we have developed all that land. And we have classrooms. We have a children's home, the Leaders of Tomorrow Children's Home. Some of the smartest children you will ever see. Some of them are orphans, some of them come from very destitute families, and their families were having a hard time taking care of them. That is the reason we started this children's home, another example of service for our community. You can keep on. This is some of the, this is our model, sharing knowledge for community development. You can keep on. That's outside of our center. All the walls have graffiti on them. All the walls have beautiful messages. I work very closely with the hip-hop community there. Hip-hop is extremely important in East Africa and in Tanzania in particular. Arusha is considered to be the hub of conscious hip-hop. Did you know that? Yeah. And I feel very blessed to be accepted by these young people. I'm always the oldest one at the concerts and at the summits, you know, but they realize that I honor the work that they are doing through hip-hop, the empowerment that is coming about for so many young people, both through hip-hop and the arts in general. We've had so many young people come through the center who have never been exposed to a lot of different things and come there all shy and withdrawn, and as soon as they learn how to paint or design or go into the studio and make their first CD, you can see their whole personality change, you know. So I know the power of art. and we emphasize that all of us are artists. We're put on this earth to be creative people. And we love to give young people and elders an opportunity to explore their creativity and to add to their sense of empowerment and the sense of community. This is one of our classrooms with one of our volunteers. You can keep on. There's some more of our students. As you can see, these students, if you put them down here, you would have no idea they were from Tanzania, from East Africa. They're no different from you. This is our computer class. We brought the internet to our village there. This is the first time there was internet. In that village also, we had the blessing to bring electricity. Many years ago, there was no electricity. We had the blessing of Brother Geronimo Jijaga, which you all probably have heard his name, who was one of our Panther comrades who was a political prisoner for 27 years. And when he got out, the money that the government had given him to compensate for all of his youth that was spent in prison, he went around to different comrades around the world asking them, what can we do for you? And for us, the greatest need was water. That brother plopped down $10,000 for us to build a well. And that well was for our community. Before we even got any of that water, we made sure that our community was able to get water. There's also a project, a solar project, that one of our Panther Cubs, Brother Gaidi Farad, was instrumental in organizing for that, where many families in our village who had never had any access to electricity now have solar power. You know, so all of this is just the legacy of the Black Panther Party. That's all it is, and we're proud to continually tell people that, you know. We emphasize sports. We had probably had the only yoga classes in that village also. And martial arts. The leaders of tomorrow's children's home. Those are some of the children. You say they got their Black Panther berets on. And they're blue and black. Those are Panther colors. This picture was a while back. The oldest girl is now in secondary school. At the top of her class, and the youngest is 6. Yeah. You can keep going. Yes, you can keep going, sister. This is where, to show you the confidence of these children. They went to a community event, and there was a radio interview going on. Those kids just stepped up to the mic and were just talking to that announcer like they've been doing that all their life. They are so confident. You've seen them, Reggie and Sister Gail. They are so confident and just smart. And we're just so proud. They're such a good example for the other youth, you know. And everybody tries to outdo each other, you know, and what they have learned. I think we'll play one of the music videos. Like I was telling y'all, we have a studio. It's called the Peace Power Productions. And we do a lot of videos and a lot of audio tracks. I'd like to share United States of Africa. This is one we made quite a while ago. All of our music videos try to teach a lesson, you know, about solidarity, about global solidarity, about spreading peace and love, and about community service. These videos are played on television in Tanzania, and we're proud of the lessons that are taught through them. And this video is a tribute that we did when Brother Geronimo made his transition. There were several top musicians in East Africa who came together and we did this tribute.
More fire. This goes out to our brother, Chikada, Rest of the world. Hisia zake zitabaki kama spirit ya tupaki kwenye mitana mioyo apenda yake. kwa mwanaharakati alipigania haki za mablaki kipindi utawala Amerika chini ya mawaiti. Ametutoka, tutakuwa naye tena kama mjema, ila tutakuwa naye tena kwa madini yaliyotema. Ulale pema kama shujaa daima, heshima mishumaa zibiki kuonesha wako wema. Miaka 27 jela kwa masela, hauna tofauti na Mandela. What I remember about Ija, karibu wote good fella. Kivuli cha haki kwenye jua ni umbrella. Rest in you popote ulipokwenda. Tutakuremember January to December, tutazidi kuendeleza kwa yale uliyojenga. Rest in peace, bro.
Hip-hop alive, never go astray. Strategize, sacrifice every step of the way. Analyze, sanctify at the end of the day. I love the G, but you go free me lele. We may rest in peace, no shamis nerele. We may try to see ski walk. If you could put now in a producer, your music I will see to be like my power dish. And speakers when they call take whips. Power bish, and no leaders in the market speak. Our Marcus Mosiah, made a black man speech. Strife so high, come the sky. I'm the best in the beer, so this is set of last liquor special. So cast lessons I get on my blessing. It's my front, new on points, come my decimals. My produce nine, come on, snows, my decimals.
We always will remember you. Now and forever. Every moment we reminisce of you. Forever. For your words will never die. In our hearts you stay alive. We'll always in the bayou, he fought in the jungles of Vietnam. A true backwoods warrior, urban soldier, panther spirit, y'all. And G loved to be out in nature, digging the sight of flowers, birds, and trees. Those who really knew him were not surprised at the ease that he flowed into a new life at the foot of Mayhe's Peak. Calling smoke marches, echoing laughter as G flies free to meet our ancestors. Some call him Geronimo, but we call him G. We'll honor his memory with our good work. Spread wings in freedom, G. Now you are free. We will always remember you. Now and forever. In every moment you reminisce of you. Forever. In the hearts you'll never die. In the hearts you'll stay alive. You will always remember you. Our brother I want to close with a poem that I love to bring. It's called I Almost Lost Myself. And it speaks on how when I first came to Tanzania, I tried to do my best to assimilate I wanted people to understand that I was a purely African woman without a hyphenated American on there. And I almost threw away the history that I had lived in America. You know, it took me years to understand that history was just as important as that of those who were born on the continent. So I think everybody can relate to this because we all go through these phases of trying to fit in and even changing ourselves to fit in. And it used to amaze me that even though pre-dreadlock, dressed in Congo from head to toe, carrying my babies on my back, basket on my head, chewing sugarcane sticks and pepper sprinkled muhogo rolls, just like everybody else. Before I even opened my mouth to speak, they could somehow tell that I was someone else, different, other than. I couldn't hide it even though I tried, and I almost lost myself. Self. In my freshly landed, just got off the boat enthusiasm of living in Africa, I tried to blend, to melt, homogenize, disappear, erase the essence of what made me who I was and am, an African who grew up in and was molded by the hoods of America, and I almost lost myself. I almost lost that distinctive stride that signals that she ain't from here. I'm not talking about and Guinea, brother. I almost lost my fears, laughing in your face, sister tone voice, and my hands on hips, finger waving, snake charming. You ain't about to tell me I can't. Neck move. I tucked that me tightly under my Congo wraps and demure gaze and soft, gentle handshake, and I almost lost it in giving it up. But I woke up just in time and place and attitude. I had to learn to remember that the I that is me has a history as rich and as valid as anyone born with the dust of our African ancestors squished lovingly between their baby toes. I learned to remember that the Middle Passage memories still twisted in my DNA, causing frequent bouts of claustrophobic episodes, are as real as the recollections of those who had never been ripped from the reassuring womb of family and history and language and food and religion. I learned to remember that the French etymology of my name was just as valid and honorable and blessed as Habiba's or Amina's or Aisha's, because it was given to me in love by those who loved me and marked me as surely as the eternally swollen scarification guts of a Dinka lady. I learned to reject feelings of embarrassment at having been born an African in America, off land, offshore, thousands of miles off course from where I might have been, had those captors not had such a pressing need for dark rum and cotton gins. I've learned to remember and bring honor to the fact that, hey, I'm still the fly in the ointment, the lump in the clotted cream, the wrinkle in the dried cloth, that hard green pea under the stack of mattresses. And after having lived in Africa for more than 40 years, I'm still different, set apart from Negro. But hey, it no longer bothers me that folks still ask me, even after I've explained that I've lived in a village in the heart of Wameru homeland in Africa for years and years and years, probably before they were born. It no longer bothers me, I tell you, when they say, in response to my explanation, yes, I do understand that, but, now watch out. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes, but where are you from?
So, I want to know, you and Pete have been through a lot, you know what I'm saying? And what's the best advice you can give young sisters and brothers and just all sisters and brothers for staying together in a union and pushing against the system and continuing to thrive and create like a stable foundation. You guys have created so much for so many others for us for an example for us. So I want to thank you for that, and the best advice you can give so we can pass that on.
We get asked that question quite often because we have been together in a very strong union for this is our 44th year together. And I think one of the reasons that our union has been so strong is because we were both members of the Black Panther Party, and we knew how to work together, and we knew how to check our egos at the door to get work done. But the thing that I always tell the young couples, you know, there's paramount importance of respecting and trusting, but also having something outside of yourself that you can work on together. The thing that's outside of ourselves is community service, you know. And I think that makes a union strong. It's simple, you know, respect, of course love, trust, and community service. That's a winning formula for so many people, you know. So that's what I'd like to pass on to you and all the young people in the house. Some of the old folks too.
If you have questions, if you want to just come forward, we have a microphone over here. If you want to stand up and go to the mic. Yes, sir.
Berkeley County, Mama Shot. Welcome back to the States, and I had a chance to do a Fulbright in Kenya, and I went actually visit Tanzania, Moshe, and Arusha. And my question to you is, how relevant and how viable is repatriation for African Americans or Africans coming back to Africa? And my second question is, the importance of rites of passage programs for our children. Thank you.
I think the rites of passage programs are very, very important because historically this is what we as African people did. And you know, I was talking to a sister about this the other day, how it's like so many of these traditions are now being lost in Africa. And it's up to we who are the conscious community of Africans from the diaspora to bring this back to the continent. It's almost as if we went through all of this hell, the hell of the Middle Passage and slavery and all that, to instill in us the importance of things like rites of passage, you know? And bringing that back, and the importance of culture. So it's our duty. It's our duty to not only provide this kind of knowledge and these rituals for our communities in the States or wherever in the diaspora, but also to provide examples for brothers and sisters on the continent. It has gotten like that. So yes, that is extremely, extremely important. And we do rites of passage with our young people. And it's almost like they've been taught to fear this kind of thing, you know, because it's so African, you know? And we have to gently let them know that it's all good. And of course, everybody can't repatriate. Everybody can't go back, but those that can, I urge them to, because there's this myth that our brothers and sisters in Africa don't look at us as their brothers and sisters or cousins. That's a myth, brother. Ain't that right, Reggie? They welcome us with open arms and realize that we're one family. And one thing I also like to point out, we as members of the Black Panther Party were taught to look at ourselves as members of the global community and not to limit ourselves. Of course, honoring our ancestral heritage, but we part of the world, brother. And we have to move like we're part of the world, not like a minority. So I feel very blessed to be able to look at everybody as my brother and sister. You know? I love being able to walk this planet like that. Yeah. And powerful sauna, brother. Next time, come to Arusha. I got 2 times now.
Yes.
Hi, Sister Charlotte. I'm Salika Shakir, former Panther from Los Angeles. I brought my class to see you. Class at this I'd like to know if there's any way that my class can communicate with your class through the internet in order to continue building bridges.
Definitely.
Excellent.
Definitely we can do that. We love to do that. We love for both sides of the river to learn from each other and to share their culture. So that's an easy thing for us to do. You know, we have our computer class, we have youth that are learning English and they would love to be able to communicate. So let's do it. Let's exchange our addresses and do it. Okay, thank you, sister.
So we have time for maybe 2 more questions. Any more questions?
And if any of you all are interested in coming to the center and volunteering, or setting up some kind of opportunities for study abroad programs for your youth, please talk to me about that also. We used to have an exchange program with some of the youth in Kansas City, but we haven't been able to do that for quite some time. We would love to be able to establish something like that again. We host study abroad groups from all over the world, but there's a large concentration of them who come from universities here in the States and high schools. So we're set up to host more than 30 people at a time in bunk beds, or double deckers is what we call them. Good food, secure place, creativity going on in every corner. You would love it. A lot of people come there and they end up staying.
Some of you may know that in the African American Studies Department here, we have a study abroad program. We take students to Ghana, we take students to Jamaica, ancient Kemet, Jamaica, did I say that? Cuba. And so we definitely want to add Tanzania to our list and develop that relationship with Mama C and her center. Because yes, the experience is always transforming, and you know, all the things that you've mentioned about gaining that confidence that you see in the children. We like to pass that on to our students as well, and we found that to be true in giving them that opportunity to have that experience. And we're going to also add South Africa. We have Professor Danea, who is our South African expert now, so we want to cover the whole continent eventually.
That's the way to do it. And I had the blessing to go to Cape Town and Durban in 2010 as a guest of University of KwaZulu-Natal. I also like to point out and thank the It's About Time Committee for organizing so much organizing all of my Northern California Bay Area Hill Community Tour. And also I urge you all to go to itsabouttime.bpp.com to find out more of the history of the Black Panther Party. And the fact that my sister, Kiulu, has come out today, you know, to be with us, I feel very, very blessed. Sister Gail, you bless me, sister. And I think Brother BJ is outside, yeah? And I have some of my poetry books outside. So, anybody else have, yes, sister? Yes, sister?
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
I just have a question out of curiosity. I just want to know what is going on exactly with your husband's case at this time.
You know, there is no statute of limitations. There have been campaigns over the years to for him to get a pardon. But he's like, he's done nothing to be pardoned for. And he's fine with that. Matter of fact, there's a new book that just came out. I haven't read it yet, but it's by a journalist in Kansas City that is also calling for a pardon for him. He could have gotten a pardon actually years and years ago. But in order to receive a presidential pardon, you have to almost sign away your life and denounce everything that you stand for. And you know, Brother Pete, of course he misses his family that's here in the States and opportunities to visit with them and even to do things with more youth here. Even though we work with a lot of youth who are in the States, right? But he's going to be 73 years old in July. And the brother is feeling blessed. He's more productive than he's ever been in his life. He is cool with being in exile. You know, it's a blessing. So thank you for asking, but he's absolutely cool and the work continues. More strong than ever. They keep us down. No. That's right.
Thank you so much, and thank you for recognizing Sister Kilu Naisha, who is one of our very own living history activists that's still active here in the Bay Area. She is on the radio, KPOO. And so, you know, we talk about taking our African American Studies classes here and in Peralta, but you have living history around you right now, living Panther members.
Now give it up for my dish. This job. Now give it up.